What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down more injury updates, who's going to be the starting quarterback potentially when the Bears face the Packers. We're also going to look at some of the keys that the Bears offense needs to do if they want to find success without Justin Fields against the Green Bay Packers. And lastly, we'll be seeing how the Bears and the Packers kind of stack up statistically. We'll get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans. So, the recent injuries have opened up a lot of conversation that I've done here. Other outlets and other creators have also done on their platforms on should the Bears shut down Justin Fields? And the way that I look at it is this. The fact that you have injuries to Chase Claypool, who's questionable, he's probably more than likely going to play against the Green Bay Packers. But we know Darnell Mooney's out for the rest of the season. Khalil Herbert's already going to be out in at least, for another few weeks if he does return this season as well. Should the Bears shut down Justin Fields? And you guys know I've been very vocal about this really since almost the injury came down. At this point, I'm just of the mind of just go ahead and shut him down. I don't think, for me personally, there's nothing left for Justin Fields to prove. The only thing you're doing by playing Justin Fields, in my opinion, for the rest of the season is risking another injury. The Bears aren't fighting for anything. I know some of you guys also in the comment section, I want to give you guys and your opinions credence as well, have said, hey, you want to see Justin Fields fight through some things. You want to see Justin Fields continue to show and learn what it takes to really lead a team. And then my opinion of that, and again, my opinion, as I said, it doesn't hold any more weights than anybody else's. I'm just giving my opinion, is that, listen, you're not going to prove anything this season, right? Justin Fields with a much more improved roster coming in. Even if you say you want to see Justin Fields, continue to develop as that leader, to me, you're going to be seeing it's not going to be anything else done this season that Justin Fields develops more as a leader. It'd be different if if the Bears were fighting for a wild card spot. If that was in the cards for the Bears, then at that point I'd say, all right, the Bears he can lead this team and show what it is to go on a playoff push. But this team is fighting for nothing. It's fighting for nothing. This team is probably not going to win another game this season. And so with that being said, at this point, you pack it in. You save Justin Fields, in my opinion. You have injuries not only to your wide receiver core, you also have injuries to an offensive line that already has been giving up the most sacks in the NFL. So to me, it's no point in playing Justin Fields. But we did get some updates from head coach Matt Eberflus on our quarterback situation. And so right now, Trevor Siemian is also questionable for the game against the Green Bay Packers, which is wild. Justin Fields also questionable. They're both questionable. So right now, it looks like Peterman is going to get the start. And the Bears also signed Tim Boyle off the Lions practice squad to kind of back him up. That is a sign to me and an indication that they are not allowing Justin Fields to start this game. That's just my opinion. Again, I could be completely off basis. I don't think I have all the answers or anything like that, but I could be wrong. But I do think that, this is a sign that they're just going to shut Fields down for the season. Justin Fields has even come out and said he's not sure of his status for the game, meaning that that's probably left up to the coaching staff. And, even Ryan Poles last week saying sometimes you got to protect players from themselves. That's what this organization is here for. That's what the front office is there for, the coaching staff. And at the end of the day, it's this. I would love to see, absolutely love to see Justin Fields lead this team and just play great. But at this point, you're not going to learn anything else. We know how dynamic Justin Fields is. I know he was close to breaking and on pace to break the single season rushing record for quarterbacks. And that to me is more indication of the issue. Not to say that I don't want to see Justin Fields run. That's how he make plays. If that's what happens, especially with this whack offensive line, you kind of got to do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, it's this. I do not want to see Justin Fields potentially get hurt by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't want to see it happen. And so because of that, I'm more of the mindset of just go ahead and let Justin Fields sit and let it be what it's going to be at that point. And, it kind of is what it is at that point in the game. And we'll continue to take a look and see what this team ends up doing and deciding on. But, to me, it just is what it is. And you just gotta let the chips fall where they may. And the chips right now, to me, have fallen in the sense of we know that this team is not going to win very many games without Justin Fields. They're probably not going to win very many games the rest of the season. You have a chance to drastically improve the roster. You do that. But let's get off that, right? We know already what this is going to be and things like that. So let's go ahead and move on from that. Let's talk about the Bears offense. And again, I'm going to talk about this from the standpoint of not having Justin Fields. And one of the things that we're going to do very heavily if Justin Fields is not in the game, if this offense wants to find some success, the Green Bay Packers have a terrible run defense. And because of that, you want to see the Packers are right now the 31st worst rushing defense in the NFL. They allow 5.5 yards per carry and at least one rushing touchdown per game. And again, while our rushing attack is not the same without Justin Fields, without Khalil Herbert, we still have enough, I think, in this to still find some huge success rushing the ball. So look for this team to be a rush-heavy team. Already we have a bunch of injuries to the wide receivers positions. Darnell Mooney's out for the season. Chase Claypool, the last update I saw was that he was still questionable, dealing with some things there. So, we'll see what happens. You get a chance to get a look at N'Keal Harry, Byron Pringle, who made a hell of a catch last game as well. Equinami St. Brown's also injured, so are questionable. So we'll see what happens overall with this team. But the rushing offense is going to be a big part of this offense finding success against the Green Bay Packers defense. Another thing, if looking at this, the Bears have to avoid 3rd and long. And we'll see what happens with that. The Bears have gotten better, much better over the course of the season at 3rd down conversion. But at the end of the day, it's this. The Bears have to avoid, because the passing attack, I don't think is going to be something we see a huge amount of in this game. You want to avoid 3rd and long because that kind of forces you to probably do some passing things. And while I'm not saying that I don't want to see this team pass at all, I want to see Cole Kmet. I want to see if Chase Claypool does play and he's going to be the #1 wide receiver. Now you kind of have to be forced to use him more. I would like to see that if it comes down to it. But you want to avoid the 3rd and long, in my opinion. And we'll see if the Bears can do that. Now, as far as the statistical breakdown between the Green Bay Packers and the Bears actually are a better scoring offense than the Green Bay Packers. Now, again, we're missing most of our weapons, so we'll see. But the Bears average 20.9 points per game, whereas the Packers are only coming in averaging 19.6 points per game. Now, the difference in this offense is the Green Bay Packers have the 14th ranked passing offense in the NFL at 223 yards per game, where the Bears are the dead last in the NFL with 131 passing yards per game. Our rushing offense, we already know we're #1 in the league. The Packers are 14th in the league in that. They are averaging 121 yards rushing per game, which plays into the Bears' defensive weakness as far as our rushing defense that has been atrocious for the most part of the season. So you want to see that and avoid that if the Bears can. The Bears also have to avoid penalties. Right now, they average 48.1 penalty yards per game. We definitely want to avoid that if we can. So we'll see what happens with that. We know the Bears are also dead last in the NFL with sacks allowed per game, whereas the Packers right now are 11th. They've only allowed 24 sacks on the season, where we have allowed 42. So these are the type of things that we want to see this team avoid coming in. Now, the passing defense is still 12th, still in the top half right now, but the Packers passing defense is ranked 4th. So again, this points more so towards the Bears trying to avoid that passing game. Not really avoid it, but it being a more limited part of the Bears' offensive attack. And the Packers rushing defense dead last, not last, but 31st, whereas the Bears are 27th. So these are the type of things that we want to avoid going into this game. And so one of the biggest things with the problem with the Chicago Bears defense is the defensive line. It's been an issue all season long for the Chicago Bears. And so a big part of the conversation is now switched to what can the Bears do to address the defensive line in it. If we keep that 2nd overall pick, we can draft Will Anderson. And Will Anderson Jr. Projects to be a damn near generational defensive lineman. But what can the Bears do outside of that to improve the defensive line? Where there are some vets that they can go after. One is Darren Payne. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He has 21 career total sacks, which is a little bit low, but he is a 3 tech. So that is something that the Bears could also go after. Marcus Davenport is also going to be a free agent as well. And Jason Hargrave, who's a 7-year veteran, playing all in with the Steelers right now. So he's played with the Steelers and Philadelphia. He's played all in Pennsylvania. So those are some veterans that the Bears can go on to, on top of who they can draft. We know Will Anderson Jr. We know Jalen Carter. I hope that the Bears can walk away with one of those two. And if they can, adding some of those veteran presences to that as well is something we can do. Now, we're going to be gearing up and doing some heavy free agent and draft prospects as we go forward in the season, especially as the Bears season is just winding down and it looks like it's all for naught. But we'll continue to see that. If there's anybody you guys want me to cover, whether it's a free agent whether it's a draft prospect, anybody you guys want to bring to mind. If you've been following me over at Chicago Bulls, since you guys know I get pretty in-depth when it comes to draft coverage, I'm going to be bringing that same draft coverage here to Chicago Bears Central for the Bears, because this is going to be a year in which the Bears can drastically improve this team through free agency and the draft. And so a lot of names out there that could really improve the Bears and help the Bears out going into next season on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. So anybody you guys want to make sure I cover, make sure you leave that down below as well. But that's it for today's daily episode of Chicago Bears Central. Make sure you're following the show at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so is 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related because of you guys. Like I like to end every episode on, go Bears. Love you guys, and peace, y'all. Bear down, y'all. Forgot to bear down. Bear down as well.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.